Welcome, everyone, to the third live broadcast we've done this week. It is also the final one. ZD is getting sick of us, of me.
And telling me what to do.
I have some kind of something going on with my... What's going on?
Your respiratory
with
system.
Nurse ZD. Yeah, I have like bronchitis or...
She has some sort of upper respiratory crud.
I have consumption, is what I've been calling it. I'm sharing this into the...
Because you're consumed.
Yes. I'm in a community theater production of Sweeney Todd.
Does anybody else have it?
Said that, no.
Oh.
So I got consumption because I'm method acting.
No, you have consumption because you're the
I'm the asylum keeper.
That's right. You're like, take care of a dungeon.
Okay.
How does that go?
Asylum keeper.
It sounds like you're saying caper, not keepers. It doesn't sound like that.
Maybe someone who's watching the internet is international can tell me how good my Cockney accent is. I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. All right, so today we are cutting out the Rhapsotee. If you are interested in getting this beta version of this pattern that I've been talking about all this week, you can get it by becoming a member of SewHere.com for as little as $3 a month. You can support the fabulous live sewing media, our podcasts, everything fun that we do.
Everything we do. If you haven't listened to our podcast, you are really missing something, let me tell you.
Is it good? Is it good? Tell them how good
our
podcast.
It's very unique.
So amazing. Okay.
It's so unique.
But you get there by going to SewHere.com/membership. And members get early access to all this, fun stuff. So this printable PDF pattern is available, and that's what we've been doing all week. So first day, we measured, we talked about the concept of our pattern. Yesterday, we drafted.
Mallory had a coughing fit, and Sam and I had to improvise, and we were very good.
I actually had to go away, and I vomited.
Yeah, and thanks for the towel I had to clean. You didn't come back to get it. I had to clean up the towel she did.
That's why I live with my mom, guys.
In it. What dye is coming off of my camera?
I came back and continued the live broadcast. So these are the perils of live TV. Okay, so today we're cutting. So let's come in here a little bit. We'll just go over real quick. We're cutting and constructing. This is the t-shirt. So this is Mom's sort of marked up t-shirt. We talked about the boob.
Because I have a boob bump.
Yesterday. Jamie, thanks so much for getting in there and drafting your pattern. Jamie's a person who has a extreme boob bump. Her boobs are extreme. And she did it and it really worked out. So we'll talk about her a little bit later. But Mom's got a boob bump on the front of her pattern and we fold it back for the back. So here's the front of her t-shirt. You see the bump?
You know what else you might show them? I changed the neckline.
Well,
okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Talk about that a little later. But that's a good point. And then the back of Mom's t-shirt, this is straighter. So everyone's t-shirt pattern is going to look a little different. Mom did change her neckline. Once you get this sleeve, shoulder area figured out, the neckline's fair game.
So I basically, up here though, my shoulder is narrower. See, but it's narrow from the inside, not from the outside.
And I don't like this neckline as much.
Mine more open.
Mom likes this rounded V.
What's that right there, Mallory?
Good question, Mom. So that is a center notch. The pattern pieces for the Rhapsotee are all on the fold. So you can see here, we placed our pattern on the fold. And up here at the top, when you are doing this, when you have a pattern piece that's on the fold like this, just take your rotary cutter and cut a little notch there. And here, Sam, you want to come on my other side?
Because we have one in this sleeve cap.
Okay, so here's this sleeve cap. It is cut in half, right? Or excuse me.
Folded in half.
It's folded in half right now. So to do this, you just take a little nick out of it. This mesh is a little funny. And you can see there that you get this little V. Is that visible? There we go. This V is going to help you line up your pattern pieces. So,
what's this for?
That painter's tape is to mark the right side of this fabric. So if you have fabrics where it's difficult to see which side is the wrong side and which side is the right side, or you need to mark that
or just pick one.
Yeah, or just pick one, or you need to mark it because there's a front and back or something to a sleeve, put a piece of painter's tape on there to notate that. This sleeve here is actually already constructed. The underarm seam has been sewn. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the front and back of Mom's t-shirt here over to the serger. We're going to put it together, talk to you a little bit about putting a t-shirt together. And there are two different ways. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's maybe more than two different ways. There are more than
this, yes.
To put the sleeves in, but we're going to talk to you about those over at the serger. Right, Mom? Anything to add before we go over there?
I can't think of anything right. Now, we didn't mark the right side and wrong side of this fabric because it's obvious.
Yeah, this is actually really nice for demos. So I don't have this lined up perfectly here, but you can see our itty bitty V's.
And I do this.
So helpful.
So I always know where that center is and I don't have to find it later. So I just make that a habit when I cut something on the fold like that.
So you can see here that this is a t-shirt that's not finished yet. This is one of our test
Mallory
runs here.
style, don't
Mallory
hem.
You know, just take that little nick out of your centers. Right. You will be so glad you did. This doesn't go away. It can't dry. It can't get rubbed off or anything like that, right? So let's run over to the serger then. I'll bring the sleeves.
Okay.
You bring the body.
And Sam will bring the camera.
Sam will bring the camera. I'm gonna roll in here.
Okay. One thing about a t-shirt that everybody should know is the best thing to do with your shoulders is always to stabilize your shoulder. So I don't need my shoulder to stretch.
And Sam, you can see this on my shirt that I'm wearing right now. If I fold this out, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
I have a piece of ribbon in there. So this is the seam that Mom is talking about right now. It's the shoulder seam. The seams on the side of our t-shirts, we want those to stretch because we put, that's when we put the t-shirt on. That's when we're moving around all crazy like, right?
But I don't want this to come down or up. I do want the stable. I still have my stretch this way and every place else, but I want to keep this stable. You don't have to do this. You may not find it in every ready-wear garment you see, but it's a very, very good idea. Also, some people put in elastic or clear elastic.
Yeah, you can put
in a ribbon. You can put in twill tape. You can cut a piece. Some people cut the selvages off of their woven fabrics and just use that. Anything that the needle of your serger can take a bite into. Now, if you're on a conventional machine, you want to sew right down the middle of your ribbon or whatever it is.
Right. So all this is going to do, it's just going to take away the stretch right here. And when I make knit dolman tops, like a knit easy tee, and my shoulder seam extends down here, I actually don't do this.
You don't?
I don't. It seems to have been fine. I don't need it. If you want to put the clear elastic, though, I see that.
Clear elastic's nice, yeah. Now, clear elastic, you'll still get a little bit of give, but it has a recovery to it.
Yeah, it's just stabilizing knits. It's a little bit of a different world. And we did I think this was a good podcast. We did a podcast about just like working with knits. Cutting them, finishing them.
Was I there?
You were there.
Okay.
And we just talked about some of the concepts of when you're dealing with knit
knits
fabrics.
in general,
So that was a really good
People
one.
are afraid of knits, and once you get to know knits and what they do, you're in love with them. In fact, I don't hardly sew with woven anymore. I'm really into knits. It has something to do with age. Like as I age, I guess it's because my skin is so stretchy too. I don't know.
You were looking at all this fabric, and you were like, "Oh, look at this! I could make this." And she goes, "Why isn't this stretchy? Why did I buy any of this stuff that doesn't stretch? What was I doing?" So mom wants stretch like in all of her fabrics. I mean, I get it. I'm wearing all stretchy stuff right now too. Okay, so you're going to another live broadcast that we did. We talked about tape guides in serger feet. You're going to use that, and I'm gonna get out of the camera frame here, and Sam's going to come around.
So my presser foot is up. Just so I can show you, and my presser foot moves a little bit, but there's actually a little slit in here, and most, not all the Baby Lock sergers that I know of have this area where you can guide something through, but most sergers do have this. There are a few without. So, or you can purchase one that does. So here's what I really want you to take note of. I'm not going through it this way. I'm coming from the back. I also clip this on an angle because it's easier to get through. Okay, you don't have to do that, but it's a good tip. And then I'm going to bring this under the presser foot. Oh, my needle's down. Should be up. So my needle should be up, okay? So if you can see, I'm threaded through here and I'm coming out the back here. Now, ideally, I will take a bite in that with just like that. Make sure that my thread is piercing this, and it needs to. So if your stabilizer, whether it be ribbon or a piece of fabric or twill tape or whatever you've decided to use, this is a really nice size, okay? I guess I could measure this. Is it, or does it, oh, I'm not on a spool, am I? Do you think this is a 1/4 or 3/8? I don't know. But this is a nice size. It fits in here. I've got a little room left over. There's not too much when I stitch left hanging out, yet I still get a good bite. Now there's a tiny, tiny ribbon you can use, but what happens is sometimes it will float just in the overcast stitches and it won't really stabilize. So this is pretty an ideal-ish size, and maybe we can get it measured. So I don't know if you want to clip your, what I mean clip is I mean your, what are those called? The clips that you use instead of pins. So Wonder clips. Use the Wonder clips to hold this together, or if you want to put this together with pin it, and you should pin parallel to your knife. One reason is just in case. I ran over a pin, oh, I don't know, about a year ago. I hadn't run over one in a long time. But it wasn't even one that I had put in. It had gotten hung up in the garment, like on the back from being on the table, and I ruined a blade. So once you go over a pin with a blade, it's pretty much ruined. You'll never get a good, clean, nice cut. Now, I have put, give me a measure, a 6-inch measure. Because there's things here I want to talk about.
Here, is this okay?
This will work.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to measure this, and this must be 1/4 inch ribbon. Okay. Now, I cut this so I would have a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So I have to go from my needle and on my machine. Okay, 3-thread narrow, everybody. That's what I'm using. And there's a whole lot of discussion on the internet from us about that. So I can go from the inch mark and find my 3/8, which is right here. Okay. So I'm going to use this guide right here. If I wanted 1/4, I would go from where the needle pierces to here, which would be right inside of here. But I know that I'm going to go right there with the edge of my fabric, and I'm going to have my seam at exactly 3/8 in from the edge of my seam when it's finished cutting. So I'm on a 3-thread narrow, no differential feed. I am at a length of 3, and I'm at a width of 3 apparently. And here's what you need to know, that your presser foot needs to be down when you start. And we're real good at not doing that sometimes and wondering why we get this funny stitch. And we have people do that even on our site, go, what's wrong with my stitch? And we go, put your presser foot down. And they're like, oh. So it can be easy, like, not to get that right. So anyway, I have it threaded 3 threads, one in my, so it's in my rightmost needle because I'm a 3-thread narrow, and I have an upper looper and a lower looper. And I'm going to stitch, and I push this under, and I hold this in this both because I don't want it to slip out, okay? Now, I don't pin, so I wouldn't have to worry about removing this, and if it's parallel like that, you don't always have to remove it either. And I'm slightly holding this. This is in place, and I am not stretching. I'm not stretching. I'm just sewing. I'm just getting my seam, just like that. And because these are both right here, I can go like this and do my next one. And always make sure that you're free of any fabric under your blade that you don't want under there. I got it started. I'm doing fine here. And I'm watching this guide. I'm not watching anything else really. I know where to hold my ribbon. Don't watch your needle when you sew. The only thing that will happen is your eyeballs will bob up and down. You need to watch something stationary. And I was watching that mark. Oh, we can't hardly see this. But so I have this light green thread that is in my needle, and this is black that's in my overlock, my upper and lower looper. You can see it better on the back. That black doesn't show up so great on that royal blue ribbon, but it's there. And you see I have an even stitch because by no way at all am I distorting my edge. It's nice and soft and straight. If this was puckering, or if I saw big loops coming off, or if it was like pulling it in, it would be either too tight or too loose, and I would have to adjust my tension. But I'm on baby lock, and I don't hardly ever have to do that. Ever, never, never. Okay, what's next now?
Side seams. Easing your boob bump.
Easing my boob bump. So I'm just going on one side, I assume. Okay, so this is my boob bump.
Oh, I guess you could put a sleeve in, couldn't you? I'm sorry.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Well, if you want me to put sleeve in flat, I should do it flat now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let's do that.
So Mallory wants a sleeve put in flat and a sleeve put in the round. So if we're going to put a sleeve flat, this is how we have our garment. We have the back and we have the front, and we have only our shoulder seams together, right? And I'm going to put right sides together. Whoops. And does everybody remember that little notch I used? Mallory made it over there. And I do pin this. I'm pushing this to the back. That's the way I sewed it, so that the top loopers would be on the side that goes to the back. So I'm going to pin this parallel, or right on the seam, except I'm going through the, hard to do on TV. I'm going to stay way back here. Then I'm going to go here at the end. So ideally, my sides are lined up like this. And I'm out here. And same over here. Now, in a sense, I pinned this in the wrong way. A lot of people would put the sleeve cap down on the feed dog. But with a knit, I don't have to do that. And I find it easier to actually get this matched up if I have the sleeve on the top. I just like it better. You can do it either way. A lot of people feel like they have to ease in the sleeve cap, but I will tell you on this pattern, the sleeve cap fits in here perfectly, so I don't have a problem. I'm going to go over to my machine, and I'm going to go right here, line the edge of my fabric up with my 3/8 mark, because that's what I allowed for my seam allowance. If you're on a sewing machine, you probably made it, you might have made it a 1/2 or 5/8 like we suggested. And I'm going to sew. I don't have a lot of pins. I don't want a lot of pins. I want to, this is, just goes in like butter. You just don't need all those pins. I feel like I am better off not pinning, because the knit is so nice and smooth and easy. Now, I also have a sheer sleeve here, and by having the sleeve on top and sewing in this so this is getting my upper thread. It's going to cup towards the inside of the garment. there are instances where I want my seam to cup towards the sleeve, and then I would have the sleeve on the bottom. So again, just manipulating. You can go as slow as possible. Sometimes I have trouble sewing slow enough when I'm being recorded. So I'm just matching them up, and they're going just fine. And it's so easy because the knit, unlike a woven, the knit takes the shape easier that you're putting it in. And I'm sort of, I'm moving it around. So I'm taking it and moving it this way. And it's going right in. There's nothing better than a knit sleeve insertion because they go in so easily. I've got it in, and this is, like we said, our flat manner. Get rid of the pin. So when I do this, and like I said, I had a sheer sleeve, this will tend to cup towards the inside, and that's what I was going for, okay? So now I have the sleeve in. And what's left on this side is I need to do a side seam. I'm going to take this tape off, and the reason I do that is just so if it comes off, it doesn't get in my way. So now, when you do a flat insertion like that, I'm cutting this tail off so it doesn't get in my way or get caught in a seam. Always get rid of those thread tails. There's no reason to have them. So, I have a boob bump. Not everybody has a boob bump. I have a boob bump. I am going to match up my underarm seam here. And I've got to remember to have them going towards the body of my garment. I'm going to try anyway. If it doesn't, I'm not going to freak out. Nobody's going to look under there. I'd rather it match up nicely. Okay. I'm going to the end here. So I don't have any notches on my garment other than those center marks because, wait, I'm going to sew with this. I need to sew this way. Okay, I'm going to turn this around, everybody. I'm going to sew with my boob bump down because this is going to be eased in. And everybody goes, oh, no, I have to ease it. It's knit, guys. It'll do almost anything you say. So I'm matching all of my fabric ends, like my hem ends. That's what I'm using to go by here. I sew without doing any of these pins. I might do the pin right here, and that might be it. So if you're worried about matching this, let it lay down in a relaxed manner and put another pin in it, okay? I wouldn't do that. I would feel comfortable with that. Not everybody's going to feel that comfortable if you're a beginner sewer or you're not that familiar with knits. So what I've done here, I want this bump is going to be eased into here. This is my faux dart. So I want this seam to match up from hem to here. Now, if you have a striped shirt, a plaid shirt, whatever kind of design you might be trying to match, okay, it's going to match here, and it's going to match all the way down if you've cut it properly, and if you sew it properly. It will get off right here, okay? It just might get off a little bit. It won't be noticeable. It's under your arm. Sometimes it actually works out, which is also phenomenal. But this is going to be eased in. Now you can do this. You can take, like, just pull the center and go like this and give yourself another area of security. I don't do that, but I will for you. Okay. Now, I have a rule to sew from wide to narrow, right? That's not going to work in this instance for me. And I can fill you in later why I do that. Because I want my bump down on the feed dog. So if I went from wide to narrow, I'd have to go this way and my boob bump would be on top. So one of the rules I have, I'm breaking, and that happens all the time. But if I know why I have the rule, I can break it. Okay, so here I go, 5/8 of the seam. I'm looking right here. I'm not looking here. I'm not looking any place else. I'm looking at the edge of my fabric, and I'm looking at this mark, and that's what I'm trying to follow. It's all I want to do. And if I was not pinned, I would be doing my hold like this that I always do. So say I don't have this pin in. So because our machines have feed dogs, the bottom can sometimes get pulled in faster than the top. So I will hold my fabric like this. If you've been following us for a while, you'll know all about that that's how I sew, without pins and with that little grip. Do we call that grip anything, Mallory? Do we have a...
It's a ZD sewing grip.
It's a ZD sewing grip. Well, I'm not the only one in the world that uses it. I think the first place I saw that, I was quite young actually, and it was the Islander system. That pin was underneath there. I took it out. Definitely don't sew ever with pins underneath because you don't know where they are. So when I get to this side seam, I'm going to be really, really persnickety. Or it's not a side seam. I'm on the side seam. This is actually my sleeve seam, right? My sleeve inside. I'm just making sure that's just how I want it. I'm pulling it there together, and I'm holding this down. I'm pushing down more than anything because I would like those to meet up. And I believe they have. Here's my boob bump, everybody. And all I have to do is stretch this just a little bit. Now, the reason I don't particularly like to pin is I think sometimes it's easier to stretch this out. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Let's see if I can do it how oh, I can do it that way. Okay, so my edges are meeting. So I'm stretching basically the back edge to meet the front edge. And this gives me an ease, a bump. It gives me more fabric to go around my chest where I usually have the issue of the t-shirt pulling in the underarm, and now I'm not going to. I can get the t-shirt to go around my body. It's just that it doesn't lay nicely. So if I have that bump, I can get it to go around nicely. And meeting up my edges, this fabric is sewing real nice. I forgot how nice it was. And like I said, on surgery, I just take those pins out. I just don't even want to worry about it. Okay, so I cut that tail off by going under the knife again. I have a cutter here, or I could have used my scissors. So let's go see if I did okay here. Okay, I'm not perfect here. I'm also not going to worry about that, I don't think. Okay, I'm slightly off. And that sleeve is now in. Okay.
Do your other side seam.
Now do my other side seam. And
you don't have to explain so much.
I won't talk so much. I'm just going to do fast side seam. Just going to make sure my boob bump is down. I got to turn back side, right side out, back side out, inside out, blah, 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 blah. This fabric's really nice because I have a different fabric on the top and the bottom. I don't even have to worry about what's the front. I know that the back looks one way and the front is another. So now we'll see how I really sew. I'm going to go up to, we'll kind of see how I really sew, because I'm sitting sideways at the machine so that Sam can get my picture of the machine, not particularly me. If she wasn't there, I'd be doing it a little bit different. So I'm holding up to my, I'm going up here, kind of legging it up to my boob bump and just going. the other thing about sewing on TV is you're not in front of your sewing machine. You're to the side of it. So here is my underarm seam. I want it to match. There's my boob bump. I'm pulling it out. I'm going to make it meet. Oops. It's slipping on me. And I got a hold of it. Good thing I was watching that fabric and not my needle, because I caught that when it slid. So there I am. Got that seam. So Mallory now has a sleeve for me, right, Mallory?
Yeah, you want me to put this one in?
If you want to.
Okay. Here, I'll relieve you. Okay.
If you have a coughing fit, I'll relieve you.
You can handle that. Okay. And actually, Sam, I'm gonna let you come around here because you're gonna need to. This is like a Michelle Gondry music video where it's all one continuous shot. Okay. So here, this sleeve has already been sewn up. We've got this painter's tape on the outside to denote the right side of the fabric, and this is actually, for whatever reason, the way I like to put sleeves in.
Especially knits.
Yeah.
Well, because you can get a knit sleeve in any hole, right?
Maybe I could
put that sleeve in that neck and make it work.
Maybe I just like to feel good about myself or something. And I'm like, I can put the sleeve in the round.
As far as wearing it and how it comes out, I don't think there's that much difference.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't think there's a difference either.
So look what she's doing.
Yeah. You're not on camera. Okay, so the sleeve.
I can still talk.
Yeah, I know. So the sleeve is right side out.
If I get off a camera, it doesn't shut me up.
All of these people are going to be like, Mallory, you're so mean to your mom.
What about the poor new people?
I know. They don't even know.
The old people enjoy it. The new people are like, what's wrong with them?
They know what's up. Okay, so the shirt's inside out. The sleeve is right side out. Okay. And so I'm going to put my arm in here or whatever. You can, put it in however you want. But really, just repeat this. Chant this to yourself. Right sides together. Right sides together. Okay? Because it's really sad when you think you're hot stuff, and then you put your sleeve in right sides to wrong sides. So pinning wise, I put one pin at that notch in the top center of my sleeve that I cut at the beginning of the video, and then I will put one pin at the side seam of the t-shirt and the underarm seam of the sleeve, and I can kind of turn this out a little bit, Sam, so that we can see it a little better. To be perfectly honest, sometimes I don't pin this first one when I'm feeling lucky, when I'm feeling like, the fabrics are cooperating with me. So there is a pin sort of in the top and bottom of my sleeve, and oh my gosh, they're like inside the shirt. What's going on here, right? I am going to sew, serge, whatever, inside of this sleeve hole. So some people will talk about, they're like, oh, I want my machine to have a free arm, or blah, 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 or my serger to have a free arm. There's no free arm here. I don't want a free arm. Just don't want one, okay? I want this nice big table that supports my sewing project here, okay? And then what I will do is just line this up, okay? And if you have the Ovation or the Triumph at home and you have a knee lift, that's so lovely. For getting these things under, I'm going to raise my needle.
So before, one thing I didn't mention that we should mention is this particular sleeve, the front and the back cap are exactly the same.
Okay, so this is a symmetrical sleeve, so you're not worrying about front and back here. We could have used either sleeve. So I'm just going to put this under there, and then I'll just cut in a little bit. I think did you add 3/8 inch seam allowance to this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's that first mark.
Okay. So then, as I go along, and this really, it looks a little bit more complicated than it actually is. As I go along here, I'm just going to line up my raw edges, and everything's going to be all good. And like ZD said, yeah, if you want to up your sewing confidence, put in a knit sleeve, okay? Because it's one of the easiest things you'll do, all right? So just keep those raw edges lined up. Whoop, there we go. These are disparate curves, right? One is concave, one is convex. You saw that while Mom was putting the sleeve into the shirt flat. It's very evident then. So, a little bit at a time, you flatten the curves, you straighten the curves. And so, and I am a little off to the side. I'm sorry if I'm, cutting or serging a bit inaccurately, but it's a bit, as Mom says, when you're sewing on TV, sometimes it can be a little funny. Okay, so my notch, it's a little bit, oh, there you can see it in that mesh. There's my V. So I want that to be at that top shoulder seam there. And you can see the ribbon peeking out. So that's all working out nicely. Yeah, I really do. I do feel a big sense of accomplishment when after I put these in. I think the reason that I don't like to put them in flat is because I am bad about getting this intersection perfect. Doing it like that, like Mom said, she wasn't quite perfect. And I'm just, I don't know, for whatever reason, much more accurate like this. But it will really not affect the fit of your t-shirt too much. Okay, so I got my little thread tail out there. I'm going to cut it off with my blade. I've stitched over a bit of previous stitching, and now I'm going, oh, Sam, you're so smart. I saw you. I'm going to lock my blade. Did everybody see how easy it was to lock the blade on this Baby Lock Enlighten? Okay, literally. Blade up, blade down when I have it locked. So I lock it and I stitch over previous stitching a little bit, and then you can raise your needle up, raise your presser foot, come off of there, sew off. I turn my blade back on immediately, and I just cut this. It generally will secure the thread well enough when it is sewn over again. Oh, look at this nice stretchy 3TN. This is a lovely visual here. Mom showed it. This is my previous stitching there. Mom showed a great visual when she did the ribbon, showing her balanced stitch. Here's my nice balanced stitch, but also, so this is a balanced stitch. It is a durable stitch, but it is a flexible stitch. Exactly. Okay, it is a stretchy stitch. We love to use this on knit, so that's why we're big advocates of that 3TN. So let's see if we sewed a sleeve into the here, bring the chair over. I got through that without coughing. Oh, is there a pin? Yep, there's a pin in there.
Don't like those random pins. Sometimes fabric just picks up pins. Okay, somebody yesterday asked what we had on. What these were. I don't know if we ever answered these lanyards. So, Mallory,
it's Edie's new policy.
Mallory likes to pick up other people's pattern pieces, or she likes to sew Sam's pattern for herself.
I just like to make other people clothes.
And then wonders why it doesn't fit, or tries to put Sam's arm sleeve in her garment or whatever. So we did this, I think it was last week, 10 days ago. It was even before that. It was before I went on vacay, I think.
On vacay.
Anyway, we each have our own color of a highlighter and our lanyard that when we are drafting a pattern, which actually we were kind of playing with earlier today, we are required to wear these, and then we have to either write our name with this or somehow get the color on the pattern piece so we know who it belongs to.
Yes, so like I saw across the room that you'd pinned up some of our patterns. Mm-hmm. So Sam was like, wait, where's Mom's pattern? I was like, oh, it's over there. It's pink, Right. And anyway, so that was great.
I think it is actually melon.
Yeah, and your thing is like rose gold.
I do.
Okay. So this has been constructed. I want to show you the back of this shirt. This is our fabric panel. Actually, these will be for sale soon. I just want to show you that like the side seam isn't perfectly straight because of boob bump action over here, right? Mom does not have a pancake pattern that's perfectly the same on the front and the back because she has this bust wearing a shirt with no boob bump. I'm not a boob bump kneader. Okay, this t-shirt, this was one of our earlier iterations. It didn't have much ease around the waist or the hips, and I like a little bit more ease. So that's why this one isn't finished because it's one of our tests.
This is taking a chance putting this on to see if it works.
Yeah, you should go take your clothes off.
With my other shirt on.
Yeah. It's tight. Yeah, it's a bit tight with your other shirt on.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought maybe it would work. But
don't turn the camera over there. I have changed my clothes on live. It was a risk. There was no FCC, looking out for a wardrobe malfunction or whatever. So anyway, When shirts are made, or when you buy them, or when you make one, just, straight off the pattern, they are often that pancake. A pancake, a shirt that's the same on the front and the back, it looks better hanging up in a store. It looks better folded up on a pretty table, at the mall, okay? It just looks better. So that's why, that's what we also need to keep in mind, okay? The fashion industry likes to make things that look good on a hanger too, okay? Well, looky there. Look at there. Ta-da-da.
Sleeves is that.
Isn't that gorgeous? Okay.
And I made it longer and I made it too long.
Yeah, Zadie was like, "Oh, the first one wasn't as long." And I was like, "Yeah, I made it longer. So I'm gonna add some more."
So now I can wear this to bed or whatever.
Dress.
Yeah, I have a long
So
shirt.
there you go. Oh, this is cuter than I thought it would be. That's a nice kind of passive-aggressive comment that we like to give each other.
And I probably will put my sleeves like right
here.
here.
Zadie likes the 3/4 length. I like this.
I like here, and then I like to shove it up.
Okay. This
like
is
that.
my favorite sleeve length. Like, I will hem this to right above my elbow.
And I like to push it up to there, so.
So, like, I don't have to push it up to wash my hands or dealing with, like, a child throwing food or whatever. And but it still, like, covers my arms, and I get to show off more fabric. Yeah. And I feel like this isn't a style that's in the store a lot. And I feel like
that's very true.
I feel like I look special, okay? Because I'm wearing
special
clothes.
All right.
So, yeah.
She's always been special.
That's what you always told me,
She's
right?
She's always been special.
Okay, so
I always told her she was the favorite daughter.
Yes, I am.
Never told the other ones that, though.
So, yeah, I like to cut mine off there and actually hem it there. Mom likes hers 3/4 length, and she can push it up, blah, blah, blah. You can make it short. Sam made hers real short yesterday because we had limited fabric.
Or, like we said, tank top. It's been a great tank top.
It's going to be a great tank top, yes. All right, are there any questions? I didn't see anything popping up.
Settings on the serger.
Oh, okay. I think
so it's a 3-thread narrow. Mm-hmm. So 3-thread narrow overlock is what it is. So if you have a baby lock, you're on stitch selector B. Your length is on normal, okay, and it's probably anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5. And your width, what does it say?
It was a 3, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
3.5.
So if you do not have a baby lock serger that has the
different or automatic thread delivery system,
right, the thread delivery system, you would set your tensions for a 3-thread overlock and go to your owner's manual, and you would what? Test. We always test, even on the baby lock. I test my stitch because guess what? Sometimes I haven't threaded very well, and it's almost anytime the baby lock's off, it's because I screwed up.
It's because...
It's never the machine. It's always me.
It's always because I assumed it was on something, but Mom had done a rolled edge the night
before.
Or
my thread is hung up or something on the lift, or, just something, anything.
And it's very rare that it's very rare that it doesn't happen that often. Work nicely.
But, like I said, if I find an error, it's usually been one of mine. Operator error.
Earlier in the video, I showed just how stretchy that 3TN is. It really is stretchy, so that's what everybody's wearing right now, actually. Our clothing constructed with the 3TN. Sam's wearing an easy tee. I'm wearing a t-shirt. You're wearing a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. All of my workout clothes are 3-thread narrow.
So now that we've gone through this and we've had our fabulous members, they've been downloading the pattern, they've been making it, they've been drafting it, they've been being our beta testers, we'll get those written instructions out and people can buy the Rhapsotee pattern and drafting guide.
Do we know how it's going with everybody? That anybody that had big boobs, little boobs, no boobs?
I'm not going to say...
Big shoulders, little shoulders?
I won't say Jamie's last name, okay? But I'm pretty sure she would be all right with me discussing her body. We had discussed how...
She's very projected.
She has a bust that is it's not just big in measurement, okay? Because that's a total... a big bust is so relative, right? Jamie has a lot of projection. It's coming out from her body, her bust. And so she often is, she's doing all sorts of FBAs. She's got a really extreme difference there. Right. And she had a very large boob bump. Yeah. I mean, we were
like, well, this might not work.
Hello,
it's kind of weird. Yeah.
I even told her she might need to not go all the way out to like where her bust measurement was. Maybe temper that a little bit, and it's actually looking really good. Yeah. So I'm very pleased with that. and we will kind of experiment with some one-way stretch fabric. And we were talking about maybe that'll work with some boob bumps and not others.
But I swear I used to use the boob bump on it years
fine?
ago, and I don't remember it not working.
Well, I guess we're going to find out.
I used it in somehow.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of experimentation. Of course, Dee Dee's trying to break the rules right away. I mean,
that's right.
Who is surprised, right? Anyway, so thank you all for watching. I'll put all of these videos together. They will be, I think we can do like a watch party in the group.
Do you want to read my shirt?
So long and so happy.